Hey Bowtie Nation, Joseph Hogue with the Let's Talk Money channel, and I know a video that will change a lot of your lives out there. Nation, the Bureau of Labor, through its household spending survey, shows the average family saves about $500 a month. But for most, we know it's a hell of a lot less. For households making less than $48,000 a year, it's more like $100 in savings or less. And the coronavirus has just made all of this even worse. Half of the households in a recent survey reported serious financial problems during the pandemic, with 35% using up all their savings and 1 in 4 not being able to pay the rent. And we know that even before the crisis, 2 in 5 retirees depended almost exclusively on Social Security, about $1,300 a month just to pay those bills. Nation, we talk a lot about making extra money here on the channel, but sometimes it's just not possible. However much you make each month, however much you can save, you've got to find ways to make those small investments go as far as possible. And that's what I'm going to show you in this video. I'm going to show you the 5 investing strategies to turn those small investments into big money. For each, I'll show you what it is, how much you can make, and how to get started. This isn't going to be one of those lame-ass generic videos. I'm not going to cop out and just tell you to invest in stocks. These are 5 legit ways to turn a little dough into the whole cake, and I'm going to rank them on least to highest returns. If you want to see some of those videos about making more money, check out the playlist section on the channel and join the community by tapping that subscribe button. It's free and you'll never miss an episode. I know you want that list, so we're going to get right to it, but stick around because towards the end of the video, I'm also going to be revealing 3 secrets to investing that every investor must know. 3 rules that will work to make more money on your investments. Our first strategy is just going to be good old-fashioned consistency. And I know this doesn't sound like an investing strategy, but Nation, this is the #1 reason people don't meet their investing goals. These next 4 strategies are going to be actual types of investments, but you have got to start here. Saving just $100 a month, just one less mocha, coca, frappuccino a day, can become almost $200,000 for retirement. It's a return of over $160,000 on your money. But most people don't do this. They get excited about investing and just jump into the market, but they don't stick to that consistent schedule, investing money every single month. Worse still is others budget everything they can to investing. Then they run into an emergency expense and have to take money out of their account, setting them back. So I want you to only invest what you can absolutely afford, only as much as you know you can invest every single month. I know it doesn't sound like some great strategy, and it's not like what you hear on those other channels, some hot stock pick to pile all your money into, but this single piece of advice, Nation, will make you rich. This next strategy for turning small investments into big cash is monthly dividend stocks and a 12% average return. Now, those of you in the Nation know we love our dividend stocks here on the channel, but it sucks having to wait 3 months to collect those checks. With stocks that pay out monthly, though, you not only get a more frequent cash flow to pay those bills, but you can also compound that money faster, which is going to mean higher total returns. Remember, compounding is just the idea of making money on that interest or the returns that you've already made. So instead of waiting those 3 months to reinvest your dividends, you're reinvesting that cash every single month and can immediately start making money on it. I'll show you how to find monthly dividend stocks and a few ideas next, but look at this. Just this one change adds almost another $100,000 to your portfolio, turning those small investments of just $100 a month into almost $290,000. Now, while you're looking for these dividend stocks, though, understand a lot of these are going to be either real estate investments, so those REIT stocks, or business development corporations, or BDCs. So don't have all your portfolio in just this small investment strategy. A good target would be maybe 20% of your money in these, and then the rest in some of these other strategies we'll talk about. Some examples of great monthly dividend stocks here are Realty Income, ticker O, which is a real estate investment trust that owns retail properties like pharmacy and convenience stores and pays a 4.6% dividend yield. The Gladstone Investment Corporation, ticker GAIN, is a BDC that pays a 9.2% dividend. And the Invesco S&P 500 Dividend ETF is a fund of the best dividend payers in the market with a 5.4% dividend yield monthly. Now, this next way to invest small amounts for a big portfolio is growth stocks for an annualized 14% return on your money. Growth stocks are just those companies growing their sales and their earnings faster than the rest of the market. They don't usually pay much of a dividend, but look at these returns. Just investing in those 5 FANG stocks, that's Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google over the last decade, would have made you 32% a year on your money. That's 16 times your investment. Now, I am not going to say you're going to make 32% on your money, but even a modest 14% annual return, growth stocks can turn small investments of $100 a month into over $428,000 over 3 decades. Looking for these types of stocks, you're not looking for high dividends like you did with the others. You're looking for companies that are growing their business exponentially. You also want to find sales growth of 15 and 20% or more in consecutive years and higher operating margins. Basically, you're looking for companies that are not only able to grow sales, but are getting more profitable as well. Most of these are going to be smaller companies, like $2 billion Stitch Fix, ticker SFIX, up 22% since recommending it less than 2 months ago. And software company Fastly, ticker FSLY, up 700% since recommending it back in March. One of the most popular types of investments here on the channel, investing in penny stock companies. So most of you know I come from the venture capital side of the industry, analyzing those pre-IPO companies for VC firms and wealthy investors. And these types of investments can return 5 and 30 times your money and an annualized return of 27% a year. But most investors just don't have access to these types of investments. In fact, by law, you have to have more than $1 million net worth just to invest in venture capital or these early stage companies. So penny stocks are the next best thing, with returns of 15 to 18% a year and higher. And it is truly amazing how far even small investments can go here. That same $100 a month to $949,000, almost $1 million over 30 years. Now understand, these are high risk, high return investments, so you need to know how to find and filter for only the best penny stocks. So what I'll do, I'll usually start with a screen on the Webull app for companies under $100 million market cap. Now that's the size of the company, and you're looking here for the smallest companies here because you want to find those undiscovered startups that can become the next $1 trillion Apple or Amazon. I'll then narrow this list to those with volume of maybe 100,000 shares or less traded on a daily basis. And again, this is just to find those stocks that fewer investors are watching. I'll also then look for this positive return on assets. That's the ROA, just to find companies where management is squeezing as much return as possible out of the assets. And then maybe use some of these technical indicators like the RSI to find cheap stocks. And this is just going to help me narrow down that list of stocks to research. I'll then pick maybe a top 5 companies with the best growth and then those competitive advantage over their peers. The screener on Webull is a great start, and there's a lot of other nice features on the app. Use the link I'll leave in the video description below, and Webull is going to give you a free share of stock worth up to $1,600 when you make your first deposit. Our next small investment strategy, before we get to those 3 investing secrets, buying a website or other low-cost business ideas. And I know, Nation, a lot of you just want those stock investing ideas, but honestly, this is where the money's at. I started my online business in 2014, almost exactly 6 years ago today, and invested less than $500 over the entire first year. I have since grown my monthly income from the business to average $23,000 this year and have made over $550,000. Now, to be fair, this strategy does take more time than the others, but if you want one way to make small investments and turn it into millions of dollars, this is it. We've got a lot of videos on the channel about side hustles and creating your own 6-figure business, so I'll link to a few of those in the video description below, along with some other videos detailing these other investment strategies in the list. Now though, I want to share with you those 3 investing rules that will help you make more money no matter which of these types of investments you choose. First is you can beat the market, but you have to be smart about it. Now I'm not talking about trading stocks on a daily basis or even month to month. Here, I'm talking about finding those long-term trends, the investing themes that are going to drive higher returns. This is the idea of investing in those stocks, benefiting from those long-term themes and the universal forces like AI or an aging population. These big picture trends are going to be driving sales for every company in that group and give you a better chance at finding those triple-digit returns over the next 10 or even 20 years. Next here is don't neglect those other assets like bonds, gold, and real estate in your investments. And now, while real estate can produce some great returns, these aren't necessarily just for those returns, but for protection and rebalancing when stocks do drop. The idea is that maybe with 20 or 35% of your money in these other assets, when stocks do take a nosedive, your portfolio isn't going to fall as much because you've got these other types of investments like the bonds, the gold, and the real estate that are going to benefit. It's not only going to protect your money, but you can then sell some of these bonds and gold investments to take advantage of lower stock prices when they do come around. And most important here, treat your investments like a savings account. Now, this goes back to that first strategy and that idea of consistency, but it goes even further than that. The truth is, folks, you don't need returns of 15 and 20% or more to live really well. Even that growth stock's return of 14% turned a super small investment of $100 a month into nearly $500,000. So imagine what you could do even investing 100 more. Investing just $250 a month grows to over $700,000 over a few decades of investing. Just small investments for a big payday. Look in the video description below for videos detailing each of our strategies, or just click on the video to the right for the 5 penny stocks no one is watching. Don't forget to join the Let's Talk Money community by tapping that subscribe button and clicking the bell notification.